Feels good. Feels good.
Yeah. Nice
Welcome to the Mental Margarita Show, man.
I like the name.
How's life treating you?
It's going good. No complaints. No complaints.
That's fantastic. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Daniel Hubbard, aka Dan the Man. I came up with that. I don't know how original that is. The man behind One Vision Entertainment. Wow, It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Let's get to it now. So, you started your event production company in the Bay Area, 1999. What was the inspiration for that, Dan?
I just wanted to be in the music scene. Like most people in this scene, we all start out as wanting to be rappers. Not a good rapper. Yeah. Tried to make beats. Wasn't too good at producing, and I was just trying to find my niche. I used to do photographs for people for free, just show up to shows, get photographs and email them to the artists after the show. And wow. I just had a niche for organizing. So I just kind of I tried, for merch to just, all types of random stuff. We've all done it, you know what I mean? And I just gravitated towards the organization side. I used to be the guy in high school that would organize the house parties, and I'd be like, oh, okay, we're going to do it at this house. We're going to get a cake from this place. We're going to get these girls to come over,
That's fantastic. Now, what artists kind of inspired you throughout your life too? Because you just mentioned that, music has played a major role. I mean, considering the fact of what you do.
Yeah, well, in the Bay Area, growing up out there, we had just such a strong, healthy local scene. It's back then, a couple of them were signed. You had Tupac, Digital Underground, even Too Short got a deal and stuff. But most of these guys that are pretty legendary today, from Mac Dre to Celly Cell to
Absolutely.
A lot of these guys didn't have record deals. They're independent, and you could go to the Fairfield Mall and you'd meet these guys. You'd see Andre Nicotina carrying a box of his CDs in and bringing them over to Chauncey's Funky Chicken and dropping them off to sell.
Right.
And it's just they just kind of inspired me. You would actually see it. I guess it felt obtainable because you'd see Be Legit on MTV and then see him at a local store or something, and even though he's independent, it felt like it was something that I could obtain. And just, I guess they all inspired me, just how the hustle and the hard work ethic, and how they just kind of, if people didn't want to give them a chance, they just made their own lane, you know what I mean? So
they really did. I mean, the Bay Area artists, I mean, when you're talking about independent operation, I mean, they were the kings of it.
Yeah, at high school,
selling stuff right out the trunk.
Yeah, we would just go out to lunch at high school, and you'd have Mac Dre on the corner, and they would just be in their car selling CDs. And then next week it'd be E40 on the corner, and the next week it'd be the Roots or something, selling the Rompilation. Or, I remember the Rompilation. I don't know if you're familiar with that CD that Mac Dre came out with.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But that was I'm sure whatever sales they have recorded, that CD to 200,000-300,000 more copies, because they were just they would sell a box to someone like me and say, hey, you can buy these CDs for $10 each, go flip them at your high school, and you would sell out in a day, if you had some CDs. And so they were literally I don't want to call it a pyramid scheme, but it was almost that way, where they would just print these boxes, move them to another distributor, and it would go down the line. So they would just be, regular everyday people that had nothing to do with the CD, selling them out of their backpacks.
I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. Now, what I love about you is I know that you're a music lover, but you're also a businessman. What are some of the initial hardships being an entrepreneur, embarking on this journey that you had to go through as you're starting to, start this event production company?
Well, one hardship that you'll learn is being a music lover and stuff. it's a double-edged sword. Like, you know, starting an independent business is really, really hard. Hopping into entertainment or fashion or something, or, you know, some of the most flooded industries out there. So it's just that much harder, you know, if you want to become a musician versus if you want to, you know, own a lawn company, you know, there's probably a lot less competition and more need for the lawn company, you know, locally and stuff like that.
Right.
So it takes that drive and love to keep you going. But then you also have to separate yourself from it, which is really hard, because if you just follow your heart, a lot of times you'll be broke forever, you know? So if you want to take it to that level where it's not a hobby, you have to kind of disassociate what you love and see what your customers love, you know? And it might not be, you know, and you can influence a little bit and you can throw your stuff, but at the end of the day, you gotta give the customers what they want. And if you're not, if your likes aren't exactly like certain people, like, you know, maybe a Kanye West, who's this visionary, what he creates, people just love. And he just has this sight that, you know, if you're that type of person, maybe you can do exactly what you want and people are going to follow you. But a lot of business owners, you got to kind of customize the trends and you got to kind of follow what the people want and give them what they want. And, you know, and like, I used to have this problem where I would want to do all the artists that I like listening to. And a lot of times they wouldn't sell tickets. Yeah, they wouldn't sell tickets. And every generation, you know, just, you know, every 2-3 years, music reinvents itself. And like the kids are the ones, the youth is the ones who really put in the money. And, you know, adults spend a lot of money on music, but kids really, like, you know, they might put 50% of their income in music, you know, and stuff like that. And you really got to follow their trends and listen to what they're doing. And, you know, it took me a while even to kind of get into new trends. I was, you know, your regular old head, like, oh man, if it didn't come out in the 90s, I ain't listening to it, you know.
Right.
But I've definitely, you know, like, I like everything, you know. I listen to new stuff right off the radio, you know. There's new stuff nowadays that, you know, sounds like old school stuff. And you know, it's just, there's so much variety out here. It's really cool. I got a little sidetracked with that, but yeah, you really gotta, you know,
no, it's true.
Yeah, you gotta disassociate your passion to a point to see what the big picture is, I guess is what I was saying. Because you can, if you have too much passion, you can be tunnel vision. You can be tunnel vision in your passion sometimes, you know?
Yeah. And you know what? I think that we all fall victim of that in some form of fashion.
Yeah. And
you know,
and like I said, it's a double-edged sword. Like, half of that is what gives us our power, you know? So you don't want to throw it away. You just have to learn how to control it, I guess. Because, you know, it's what makes us unique. It's the beauty of all of us is, you know, what we like that nobody else likes, in a way, I guess, you know, our uniquenesses. So.
Exactly. And you know, speaking of what you like, and you mentioned in that, you know, obviously you're working with so many different artists, you know, some you might like more than others, thousands of events. What are some of your most memorable events that you've done?
Man, they, like, so many of them have like a little special part, you know? Like, one of my first shows I did when I got my business license, in like around 1999, 2000, that was when I legitimately got my business license. Like, I was doing house parties and having artists come, you know, kind of illegally for a couple years before that. But when I finally got like my business license and started renting out venues, I did the Colonial Theater in Sacramento, and I partnered with Andre Nicotina, and it was Andre Nicotina and Mac Dre, and sold out 600 tickets 2 weeks before the show. And, you know, at that time I saw that and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna be the next, you know, Bill Graham. You know, this is easy, you know. And it definitely wasn't. Like, I think my next 3 shows I lost money on after that. But it was just like, it really just gave me the perspective that I could see it as actually a career, though. It really did, is like, okay, I could actually make a living off this. I could actually pay my bills if I just, you know, keep doing it like this, you know. But I got really risky after that, like I said, and I lost money for, you know, my next little route of shows. And but it was a really cool show. Yeah, it was a really fun show. And it was, you know, it was probably one of the, you know, like I did about 15 shows with Mac Dre before he passed away, and he was one of my biggest
Wow.
influences. Mac Dre and Andre Nicotina growing
Oh my
up, and so it was like at that level,
man.
it was just like, you know, at that time I was like 19, 20, and I was doing a show with, in my eyes, the two biggest artists in the world. They were bigger to me than Mac Dre or than
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg. They were bigger to me than, you know, Wu-Tang Clan. Like these were the, you know, the pinnacle of artists. And it
Right.
just really gave me that confidence, you know, and it just kind of let me say like, hey, take this serious, do this for a living. And I think if that wouldn't have happened, I probably would have got discouraged and maybe just got a regular 9 to 5 or something, you know?
Sure. And you know what? They were Bay Area superheroes, you know?
Yeah, they really were. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, being a talent buyer,
Mm-hmm.
how important was it for you to establish relationships with these artists? Because I'm sure that you formed a lot of relationships over the years, but how important is it?
It's like, it's very, very, very important for the long-term situation. Like there's a lot of flyby promoters that, you know, burn bridges and hop around to different markets and, you know, they screw over some people in this market, we'll go to a different one. But really, if you want to,
Absolutely.
you know, I'm 20 plus years in this game, and I just want it to get easier and easier every year. You know, my first years I was working 100 hours a week, and then, you know, slowly I wanted, you know, now I have a daughter and I'm trying to stick it under 40 hours a week, you know. And if it wasn't for the building blocks I'd be broke right now because I would not put in enough time. But since I've built this foundation, I'm still, you know, benefiting, you know, from all the hard work I've done in the past. But you know, it's just like a lot of times, you know, when you're in a smaller level, it's more directly to the artist and manager you build the relationships. But when you get to the bigger level, it's a lot of with the agencies. And, you know, a lot of times, like I'm friends with a lot of these artists, but they don't book their shows. They don't even know where their shows are going.
Right.
You know, the agent is routing everything. And, you know, like I brought Mozzie to Reno. Another local guy in Reno brought him, but I worked on the show and he did him with like 50 people. And then the next show we had like, you know, 150 people. Then we had 300 people. Then we got to 500. And then Mozzie went to Universal Talent. And then I didn't get the show. Another promoter got it because the agency, you know, Mozzie shows respect and he loves working with the same people and stuff, but he doesn't even know where his shows are going at the time, you know?
Right.
Luckily, the other promoter who got the show, you know, he's super respectful. He knew I had history and he's like, hey, you want to partner on the show? Like, I don't want to just steal your artist from you. You know, some promoters don't do that, you know, but It's a really cool guy, J Max Productions out of Chico. He's a great, great guy. And so we worked on that show. But, you know, I remember talking to Davo, Mozzie's manager, and he was like, I don't know who's booking our shows anymore. You know, we just collect the checks and drive out to the cities, you know? So,
wow.
Yeah, but it is a lot about just building relationships. Like I have a street team guy that was on my street team 20 years ago, DJ Eddie Z, and now he's the Sacramento Kings DJ. He DJs the Reno Wolfpack out here. And he still puts in a good word for me, and we work together 20 years, and I'll have someone, you know, come up to me and be like, oh yeah, Eddie Z said you're the man, you know, and that's a relationship from 22, 23 years ago, you know, so
it pays off. It definitely pays.
Yeah, especially the long run. If you want to do this for a good time and you don't want to move around and duck people, you know.
Right. I'm telling you. Now, I personally got the opportunity to perform at one of your concerts at the Knitting Factory.
Oh, nice.
I want to thank you for that opportunity.
You're welcome.
Now, give the audience a glimpse of the responsibilities that you have to deal with, you know, the day of concert, waking up, leading the showtime and beyond. What is it like a day?
It's like, it's something that I don't think I'll ever get completely used to. Like I see some other promoters keep their cool a lot better than me, but day show, I'm stressed out. But it's like, you know, you're working, you know, normally like 2, 3, 4 months on this one event. You know, you have multiple events coming, but you're putting tons of hours and you're like choreographing you know, hundreds to sometimes 200, you know, different people, from like the sound guy to the staff to the venue to the DJ to your door staff to your production manager to all the local acts to the local acts, you know, to the headliner to his road manager to the agents. And you're like doing this dance where you're trying to bring everybody together at one little like 3-hour period to go perfect, you know, and it's just one little piece of it can, you know, throw the whole thing apart. So, you know, the DJ gets sick. You know, right now we're dealing with snow in Reno, you know, like we have Afro Man tomorrow and he's pretty close.
Oh, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I think he's going to make it in. So he did Nevada City last night. He's going to South Lake, then Reno tomorrow. So he'll be able to make it. I don't think the snow will be too bad, but you run into that all the time. Like we had all black Friday, December 2nd, and it was dumping out here, a ton of snow. And I called him in the morning. I was like, man, you know, like I want you to be safe. You know, you have to drive over the hill from Sacramento. I was like, we can postpone the show a month if you really want to. He's like, nah, I'm doing the show. I'll be out there. And it took him, you know, probably like a 2-hour drive, took him probably like 6 hours. They got in an accident 30 minutes out of town.
Oh my
And their car got stuck in the snow. He's going on stage in about an hour. And like, snowy, I couldn't even get there on the freeway and pick him up and turn around. It would take me 2 hours. There's so much snow. And some family saw them on the side of the road, and they're in a minivan with there's a mom, dad, 2 kids. They picked him up, smashed all black and all his crew in the minivan, and the kids sat in the back of the minivan. And so they're like, oh, we're almost to the venue, and I don't even know this is happening. And they roll up, and it's just this family in all black, and all his guys get out and just kill it. Like, like so professional, and he just loves his fans. Great artist to work with, you know. But sometimes that doesn't happen. A lot of times, you know, at that moment, all black couldn't make it, and then the fans are all there, and you know, you're like, the headliner's stuck out of town, you know. So, a lot of little problems that could happen, but it's very, very stressful, and it's cool though. Like, you know, I definitely get tunnel vision, and a lot of people be like, man, you were really, you know, you're kind of rude to me yesterday. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I don't even remember seeing you. Like, I was
right.
guy around the venue.
Nothing personal.
Yeah, it's nothing personal. Call me tomorrow, and I'll be all smiles and giggles. You know.
You know what? You need your own reality show, Dan.
I don't really like these. It's kind of embarrassing for me already. I'm not a big camera guy, so.
But you're doing a terrific job. Now, how does an upcoming artist get in contact with you if they want to be part of a concert that you're doing?
The best way is through email. You know, you can go to social media, One Vision EG, on all platforms and find my email. The best way is to send an email. I get, you know, I book, you know, maybe 5 to 10 locals a month, and I get 100 to 200 reaching out to me. So it's really, really, you know, it's if you're not from Reno, you know, not disrespect or anything, but you know, we just don't really have room for it. But I try to work in all the little local Reno acts and stuff like that. And just be professional. Like for someone like me or all these other promoters like J Max and everybody else, we got so much stuff going on, and we're so busy that we're going to gravitate, even if it's not consciously we notice it, we subconsciously just gravitate to people that act professional because we're working in a business environment. And you know, the more professional the artist is, I'm going to book him. The more professional the tour manager is, I'm going to work with him more. If one artist is really unprofessional, you know, I'm talking about headliner artists, I'm not going to book them as much. I'm like, he was late, he was kind of a pain. You know, it's going to be the same with the locals. Is we don't want to stress. You know, we have so much stuff going on. We don't want to stress on a local act. So just, you know, be on time, be courteous, you know, be patient, and, you know, just do what you got to do, you know, kill the stage. You know, you guys already know what you got to do. So.
You know what? I was fortunate to make it through.
Yeah.
And you know what? You guys are building a brand. So, I mean, you have to have a certain standard because your standard is high. And you do such a wonderful job. I mean, you really do.
Thank you. Yeah, really, that's one thing I definitely do try to keep a high standard. And, do less events, but make them more quality and not try to make them too cookie cutter, you know, try to put little uniquenesses in them and stuff like that. And I think definitely in a market like Reno, a small market, I think it helps a lot. Like bigger markets, you can probably get away with, you know, just doing more cookie cutter stuff. But I think Reno, it helps to have a little bit of a personality behind the event, I guess, you know?
You know what? That leads to my next question, because my next question is, have you had any production in Las Vegas, or is there any future plans, or would you even consider it?
It really depends. I've worked a lot in Las Vegas. I was hired from an old company I used to work with, 360 Media. They're the ones in California. They brought me in like right after I did that show with Andre Nicotina and Mac Dre I was talking about. They saw that show and they scoped me out and like, oh, well, we work with all these bigger artists. We'll hire you to help run our shows, so it's less workload on us. And all of a sudden, I started doing shows like within a year after that, I was working with E40, Too Short, then Snoop Dogg, and it was just, you know, blew my mind. But that company is also, yeah, that company is also, they brought me out.
Stop being humble, Dan. I'm not having it.
They brought me over to Vegas, and we did like Daddy Yankee out there. I've done Too Short out there. But it's not, you know, right now, like I have a 2-year-old daughter. She's turning 2 in 3 months, and my wife works full time, and I'm watching her 9 to 5. She's at grandma's today. That's why we did the meeting today. And then I work in the evenings. And so like traveling, you know, I've done shows in Fort Worth, Texas. Like we're doing the Tech 9 and E40 tour, and all the dates were booked up. And we talked to Travis from Strange Music, and we're like, are there any shows we could book? And they're like, well, there's one open date in Fort Worth, Texas. And so we booked it because, you know, it's Tech 9 and E40. We're like, that's going to do good. So it's just that was when I was down to travel, and, you know, I had to go out to Fort Worth for a couple weeks. And right now I'm just probably avoid it for a little bit, kind of like stayed at home, being with the little one and stuff. So.
Sure. And family is very important. And, you know, maybe if it's a special situation, it's something that maybe you would reach out to, you know?
Yeah. Vegas honestly isn't too far. I get asked a lot about some all ages venues in Vegas. There's not too many, just casino ones like Hard Rock and stuff. But a lot of these artists I have coming through Reno want to go to Vegas, but there's just not. It's a 21 and up town, you know. So you find a good all ages venue, let me know. I might be down there.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. Now, Dan, what is your mental margarita? I mean, after all the concert production, the promotions, the madness, what is your escape?
Definitely my family, my daughter, my wife. You know, they're my 2 best friends, and you know, they just they help. You know, before I met my wife, I was just Dan Hubbard, the concert guy. Like there was just one mode. I woke up in the morning. First thing I thought about was concerts. Last thing I thought about was concerts. And she slowly helped me separate into 2. And now, you know, in my 40s, I've just turned 40 recently, or 42 recently. And I don't feel like I'm Dan Hubbard, the concert guy. I love the respect I get and stuff like that. But I'm Maya's dad. I'm Bree's husband, you know, and that's who I am.
That's great.
So it really took, really what keeps me going.
Well, you know what? You're more than just that. You are more than just that. You're an amazing person. We want to thank you so much for all the contributions that you brought. I mean, really to West Coast and the culture. And I mean, just the opportunities that you have made for so many of us. And I want you to know that you're appreciated. And I thank you for being on the show as well, my brother.
Thank you so much for having me. It was fun, man.
Absolutely. I look forward to seeing you real soon, Dan.
All right, man. Have a good one. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
It's been a long day today, baby.
Oh, my goodness. It's a long day.
It's okay. You know what them long days call for. That makes you long day, long money.
Long day, long money.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. Welcome to the Mental Margarita Show. I got my cuzzo in the building.
Hi, everyone.
I want you to introduce yourself and your business.
Okay. Well, my name is Karen Fitzgerald, and my business is insurance. I am a state-to-state insurance broker, and I've been doing this for over a decade, and I enjoy it. I love it.
Wow. And you know what? It's so interesting because I know that we have spoken and talked about the importance of what you do and how important it is for us to be able to educate ourselves.
Correct.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, one, a lot of people don't realize how important life insurance is until it's too late. And once it's too late, it's just absolutely nothing that nobody can do. It's always good to get insurance when you're young because it's cheaper. Insurance is based on your age, it's based on your health. You don't want to wait until you get completely sick and down and out and can't do anything for yourself. Then you put yourself in a waiting period. And if something happens while you're in that waiting period, then they're only going to give you what you paid in versus the full face amount that you're looking for.
Right. Wow. And that's true. And a lot of, I mean, like, you know, we hear it, we're living our lives and you hear those two words, life insurance, life insurance. They're like real, you know, it whispers in your ear, life insurance. And we always say, okay, well, I'm gonna get around to it. Why do you think people are so hesitant to get life insurance?
Because it's not important to them until it's important. A lot of people don't think of insurance until it's too late. I wish I had insurance. I wish I could. It's a lot of wishes, but once it's too late, your wishes is just like air in a bucket. It means nothing.
That's deep right there.
Mm-hmm.
That is really, really deep. Now, how did you get started in this field of yours? I mean, what made you say, hey, this is something that I want to do?
It's kind of comical, but my job that I was working in manufacturing had faded out and I had nothing else to do. And my mom had a traditional insurance lady that picked her money up every month and she was aggravating. And she was, and she was like, do you want to do this? I was like, I don't want to go to people's house and aggravate them. But then when we got to talking about the money, give me 1 second, the vehicle was going by. When we got to talking about the scales of the money, my eyebrows raised. And I was like, well, I'll just do it until I figure out something else to do. It's been over a decade and I haven't figured out nothing else that I want to do. Because the money is really grand.
Wow, the money is great. And because you have traveled. You experienced a wonderful life. I love your mentality. And one thing that you talk about a lot is financial literacy. How important is financial literacy for our community?
It's very important because one thing that our community is stuck on is I'm only going to get $10,000. $10,000 is nothing, especially if you have children or a spouse that you want to leave behind. The cost of a funeral now is a little north of $11,000. So now you got $10,000 you put in your family. They started out in a hole of $1,000. Then most people want to have, down in the South, we have headstones. You want a headstone, so that puts you another $3,000 in the hole. So there, right there, you're $4,000 in the hole from a $10,000 policy. A $10,000 policy is the mentality of slavery because that's all that they will allow us to have back in the days. And it was just enough for burial. But there's so many different types of insurance out there that will work for generational wealth is what we're that's our goal. Generational wealth is where you can gain a lot of money, not per se just because somebody passes away, but there's two things that we're guaranteed. We're born to live and we're we're gonna die. So nothing else is guaranteed. So why not set up a system that's gonna take care of your children's children when something happens? So $10,000 is nothing. You can't do anything with $10,000.
That is so true. And you know what? And I think that the way that you just said that is thinking, it's almost selfish in a way, right?
It's very selfish. And then you have some people that think $10,000 is too much because the first thing they say is, I don't care what you do with me. Throw me in a ditch, put me in a hole. I ain't never rode down the highway and see nobody in a ditch or in a hole. So that's illegal to do. So stop being stupid and do what's right for your family, because if your family is already in a struggle while you're living day to day, what do you think them having, because keep a body out 2 weeks? You got to come up with $10,000-$15,000 to bury somebody in 2 weeks. If they can't do it on a regular day or a regular week, what make you think they can do that in a couple of weeks just to put you away?
Deep. That's really deep there.
Yeah, and I want our people to get smarter when it comes to generational wealth. We always talking about we behind the 8 ball and everybody is so advanced before us, but we are not willing to learn how to take care of ourselves. Insurance is not expensive. If you can go out and spend $200-$300 on a pair of sneakers, you can invest, not spend, but invest, because there's a difference. What you spend don't last. What you invest lasts. You can invest $100 a month, and by the time you get ready to leave this world, if you have children, your children have a great start. We are so far behind because we don't think about leaving us a great start for our children and our children. I had to figure it out. That's not fair. That's not right. That's not what we're put here for. We're put here to give them stepping stones, to give them a future so they don't have to struggle, so they don't have to be out here in these streets robbing and killing and everything else.
Yeah, you know what? It starts from the nucleus of the problem, and the mentality, the mindset. We have to change that. We have to change it. We got to stop being selfish.
Right.
About our families, generations, create that legacy. Because and I'm not gonna say any names or any ethnicities, but there's some that do it well, right? We do know they do it very well. So it's time for us to educate ourselves and to do the same thing. Now, let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that right now, in 2023, that there are more people gravitating to the idea of life insurance opposed to where it was when you first started?
No. Even with COVID, people still don't believe in life insurance. Now they feel like GoFundMe is a life insurance. And
GoFundMe
is not a life insurance. And I don't think it was ever made to help bury somebody. You can't be selfish when it comes to your family. You out here and you want everybody to buy a t-shirt and buy a plate and make a donation and you continue living your life. No, get you some life insurance so you can live your life after, because insurance is for after death, not for while you're living.
That's right. That's true. That's very true. Now, what are some of the other things you got going on, Miss Entrepreneur?
I just got a little small trip coming up. I like to travel. I just booked me a little small trip to the Bahamas today for the end of the month. You know, I love the Bahamas. Before COVID hit, I was going to the Bahamas twice a year, and this is my first time going back since 18, so I'm excited about that. And you know, I take me a out of the country trip every year, so I haven't decided where I'm gonna go this year, but next year I'm going to Thailand.
Oh,
yeah, so I'm super excited about that.
you're gonna have some good Thai food. Now, going back to life insurance, you told me a story that I want to share with the audience about. You told something to a guy. I think he was married. Let me tell you something. My cousin, she is the best when it comes to convincing you to want to do something. Because that was so comical. Can you share that story with us?
I will. So I was talking to a gentleman at the gas station about insurance, and he was adamant that he did not want any more insurance. I got $10,000. That's enough. I don't care. Blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay, I got to figure out how I'm gonna do this. So I told him, I said, well, give me a moment. I said, I want you to do something for me. Close your eyes and stay with me while I tell this story. I asked you about this story. I said, how long have you been married? He said, me and my wife been married 42 years. I said, you love her? He said, I do. I said, does she work? He was like, no, she doesn't work. She doesn't put gas in the car. She does not do anything. I take care of everything. I was like, awesome. I said, now, if you pass, she does not have any working skills. So now she got to figure out how to make some money if she's not old enough to draw your Social Security. She's never put gas in the car. If she has a flat tire, what's going to happen? Because you're not here, she got to figure it out, right? I said, now we got Shade Tree Jack up the street with the oily, dirty hands that she's going to have to go to and ask for some help. She don't have any money coming in because you were selfish. You didn't leave her enough to carry on until she figured it out. I said, and now she got to do favors to get her car serviced. I said, and can you just imagine your beautiful wife having to bend over and grab her ankles just to get a $40 tire?
Oh,
he was like, no. I want you to come by so I can get me some more insurance. True story. Because my boss, he was like, how did you pull that off? I was like, you have to give people reality where they can look at it on their level, but you can't say it in a disrespectful way. I know how to say things to people without them getting upset. And if they get upset, it's when they're long gone. They ain't gonna think about it until I'm like, did she just say I did?
Yeah, she did. She did.
I did, but it worked.
Oh man, I'd say that story is great. And not only is the story great, you are great. And I love you to death, cuz.
I love you too, cuz. And I try my best because one thing I can say about insurance, back in the days, you know, the older people didn't finish school because they had to work. And they wasn't allowed to do a lot of things. And so they had to just settle for whatever was offered to them. And so when I talk to my seniors, I don't talk to them with no large lingo. I talk to them just like you and I are talking, where they can understand what I'm saying, what position they're in, and what better position they could be put in. Because a lot of seniors, they have term, and term mostly runs out between the age of 70 and 80. If they outlive that term, now the cost of insurance is higher because insurance is based on your age and it's based on your health. If you have cancer, congested heart failure, something like that, you can't get day one coverage. That's why it's always good for the ones that's out there that's very protective of your parents. Make sure you understand what they have. And if you don't understand what they have, call somebody that can explain it to you. Don't let it be too late. I'd rather be there 5 years too early than 5 minutes too late.
That's real. That is so real. You know what? That's real. So for everybody that's listening, guys, this is something that we need to be attentive of, and we need to take action. And I thank you for taking that.
State. Even if you don't want to sit down face to face, or you can't sit down face to face, I do interviews through Zoom, emails, telephone.
And please, can you give the contact info? How do they get it?
My email address is Karen Fitzgerald 08 at gmail.com. That's KarenFitzgerald 08 at gmail.com. Not hard to get to get in contact with. Just if I don't answer, just leave a message, and as soon as I finish with what I'm doing, I'll contact you within 24 hours.
There you go. There you have it, Karen Cuzzo. You did it. You did it. You made me proud. And listen, everybody that's listening, make sure that you take this very serious. We have a lot of loved ones that we've lost, and life is serious. So let's be very focused on the subject, and I feel really good about it. And wow, thank you so much, Karen. I really appreciate you.
You are welcome so much. Anytime I can help you, make sure you let me know, and I'll have no problem with coming speaking with your audience. Thank you so much for having me, Cuzzo.
All right. On behalf of the Mental Margarita Show, you have a good one.
You too, baby.
All right. Welcome to the Mental Margarita Show. We got DJ Hot Rod in the building.
Hey, man, what's happening, man? So glad to tap in with you guys, man. Amazing show. I've been doing some research, man. You guys been killing it, man.
Man, I appreciate it. Born in Queens, New York, man. What's going on?
That's right. New York, Queens, Southside Jamaica in the building. You know how 50 made it famous, but I'm saying it's the same thing in the street. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So let's take the first step. What got you into DJing, and who truly inspired you, my brother?
I'll be honest with you. My dad, as a kid, I was coming up, and I seen these Surrey Vegas speakers, and I seen these crates of records. Once I was strong enough to carry them, I was carrying them to all the parties, and he's been doing that thing since the early '80s. And he brought me a pair of turntables or extra pair. He said, "Hey, man, you can mess around with these old records and see what you could do." Showed me a few things, and before I knew it, I was already at the parties, helping out. I was waiting for my chance to step in, and when I could, I did. And I definitely want to say one of the people that I really admire was Funk Flex. I believe his story with Red Alert was the same way mine was with my dad, as he was carrying crates for the legendary Red Alert, and that's how he got his break. So I was definitely following his footsteps, and I'm just happy to now finally him to be able to acknowledge me and doing events with me. It really lets me know that I kind of made it where I want to be. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that feels good, man. I'm so happy for you. Now, why do you feel the DJ is so important? And do you think that the importance is just as important as back in the earlier days?
I'll be honest with you. DJs are very extremely important because importance of the DJs. And like I said, for every event, just like shoes or anything you shop for, it's different sizes and colors and things. So depending upon what someone's strength is when you're choosing a DJ or what type of mood you want to be in, I think that's just that means a lot. You know what I'm saying? So and then like you said, even more is like, all right, so you got the DJ, they play a specific style, how they come across. But now at today's time, things change just a little bit. And to be honest with you, I think they got away from the craft of dancing, the dance floor, a lot of things like, the only time you have a good time is at like, a wedding or something where you can really let loose, hit the floor. Right. That's been missing. And I think that was a big part of what DJing was back then. If you could keep the dance floor packed, you was a good, you know what I mean? And so I want to bring that back, and a good feel. Like I said, new music is one of the things I feel like DJs do to keep the generations going. You know, if DJs ain't playing it, you're really not hot. You know, what you want to listen to you in your car. If you go to that DJ and you say, hey, you got so and so, you might be rocking for you, but if it ain't something that's mostly requested, he's not gonna have it. And that's
That
where
is
you
so
bridge the
true.
gap. That's bridging the gap with the DJ. See, you have to have DJs to play the music you like, and that's the connection, I believe. You know.
You know what? That's absolutely right. And you know what? I think that what I find impressive is the fact that you know the culture. You know the culture of DJing, the way that you were brought up, and
Right.
that's important. You're not somebody that just wants to be a DJ and don't want to learn the history and the importance of it. So that's why I wanted to ask you that question. Now, DJ Hot Rod.
Yes.
What's the meaning behind the name, brother?
I gotta keep it. This story is amazing. I started off real small because remember I said my dad gave me the equipment. I had the records, and buying records back in the days, which some of these DJs would never be able to be a DJ because you have to have the funding to put into your craft. That's what's going to make you understand the value of it. So now when kids come with a new laptop and they're like, oh, I'm a DJ overnight, they can take people like my job because I'm charging more and for my value and what I'm bringing and for where I came from. And these guys are like, I got all the hottest records. Just put me on them or press play. That's amazing. However, if you never purchased the records and you never, went through the digging through crates and all of that stuff, I feel like you're missing everything. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely want to like elaborate on that, and basically just to say like, all right, so, you bring in a new agent and then they're forgetting some of the things. So like I want to circle back on that. Yeah, because that's another thing that I feel like is missing. Like I don't think they understand, that part. I want to teach the youth that, you know what I mean?
You know what? I love that. I love the fact that you want to teach. You want to teach and you want to tear up the dance floors. What are some of the venues you play in and what's in the works coming up?
All right. So some of those spots that I played that was like the best, like Stereo Garden, Long Island. I've done Taj in the city. I've done 4040 Club. I've done, I've done the yachts, every single boat up and down the, marinas of New York City. And, I played out of country as well. And I always target the number one venues when I go into town. I just give them a little, a reminder that, hey, DJ Hot Rod from New York's coming through. They always make a spot for me if it's not one already there, because folks love to save a little bit. If they know somebody special in town, they're like, hey, man, we ain't got to fly this guy out, man. You know what? Let's have a special guest tonight and make it right for him. People like to show folks from New York a great time all over the world. And I'm thinking about, definitely touring more interstate as well, as far as going up and down the coast and side to side with it, because in Kentucky's and those small places, they need an experience. Like I feel like what I can bring. Yeah.
They got to have that experience. And you know what? We got to bring you out to Vegas too, my brother.
Oh yeah, those speakers. Nowadays, everything is all powered. Before we had those amp racks and all of that. And this, like I said, I really want to just salute to the Khaled's of the worlds and the Clues of the worlds and those guys, because they paved the way for brothers like myself to just, dream a little bit bigger than just if I can rock a party. When it comes to the music industry part of it, and developing like the artist and the DJ relationship is something that I really want to hone in on, because I think it's very important. Just as hard as those guys record, they need someone that's going to spin their material and make it pleasurable for the world. And that's one of my things.
You know what? You're absolutely right. DJs like the legendary DJ Red Alert, what you mentioned, Kid Capri, to name a few. Seeing someone like DJ Khaled doing his thing, his path to success. Do you think that you're creating your own identity, your own path to success? Because everybody has a different way of blowing, just like, artists do. So are you starting to see that come your way? Is it starting to fall in place for you more and more?
It really is, to the point where it's like, artists are like, hey, I'm a brand new artist. If you have places to record and, or if you can help me, with whatever I can help with. And I realized like, hey, I have all these network, I have all these things that they need, or I might know someone that they might not know. And, you know, the next new star could be right there with me, and I'm not knowing. And when you do have the opportunity to make a call to a Flex or a Clue or, you know, a Capri or whoever it may be, it benefits, you know, the artist from being in touch with a person like myself that can, you know, uplift or ignite their career. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, Hot Rod, you're sounding good over here, man. You're smelling like money, man. You're smelling like money.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm just following with my heart and my dreams. You know, that's what keeps me motivated. I'm sure that the fame and the funds and everything else we like is going to come with it. However, on a journey, I just want to stay focused and not let anything distract me from what I love to do, you know?
You know, but it's true. And DJing is an art. It's an art form, you know,
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that it is an art form. And I love the fact that you do. Now, how does someone follow you if they're interested in booking you, getting your services or anything that you're doing? How do they reach you?
All right, I would definitely say my Instagram is the number one thing. I mean, I love looking at new messages. I love blocking, you know, weirdos. That's just what because I want to keep all the junk away from what I got going on. If you
Keep it away.
So yes, my Instagram, they can follow me at DJ Hot Rod. Once you type in DJ Hot, HOT, I'll be at the top. So it's DJ Hot Rod, straight out like that. No spaces, none of that. I just want to be the only DJ Hot Rod on Instagram. I know there's others, but there's only one DJ Hot Rod from, you know, representing Queens, New York, and representing the United States to its fullest when I go internationally. And I'm looking forward to going on tour again in 2023, you know.
And not only that, there's only one DJ Hot Rod that's on the Mental Margarita Show.
There you go. And big up to you guys once again, man. Heck of a show. Man, I'm just so excited, delighted, and looking forward to working with you guys more.
Yeah, we definitely got to collaborate, my brother. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you in Vegas really soon. But before we go, what is your mental margarita? What is your escape?
Oh, man, to be honest with you, I really want to say going to travel the world and anywhere I go and just bringing my laptop and my yeah, this is it. This is it. I got my drink, whatever signature drink there is in that country or place or whatever it is. I want to stick my feet in the sand or, you know, or on the most beautiful places that you got there. And I want to just perform my craft for myself and my viewers and whoever else is following me from around the world, because if they can't go, I would love to take them and they can enjoy that time with their DJ, and I'm there to do that for them, and I would love for them to be there. Maybe one day they all come in and we'll do this thing together, but that's one of my mental margaritas.
Hey, that's the move, man. I love you, brother. Keep doing your thing, man. I look forward for us to connect, and let's shake the world, my brother.
I'm coming to Vegas, man. I'm coming out there. You know I'm coming.
He's coming to Vegas.
Yes. Thanks so much again, brother. Appreciate you guys.
Take care, my brother.
All right.
Starstruck, here's a sprinkle of the stardust. Hold your champagne glass and your cigars up. See the guys with mob ties drive the cars up. Bright lights, most nights they buy the bars up. Candy coated Chevy cars on the highway. It's Frankie baby, it's on and this is my way. Dean Martin at the Sands this Friday. With Sammy Davis, here's a little hint where I stay. city shines like Liberace's mansion. And you know Elvis had the whole city dancing. Showgirl silhouette steady prancing. Shout out to June, just the Copa Girls anthem. Legal gambling, yeah, that would tempt me. At Sin City, holy water couldn't cleanse me. And Wayne Newton had the crowd in a frenzy. Live at the Stardust, the seats never empty. Now if you having a good time in Las Vegas, at the count of 3, I want to hear you scream, Viva Las Vegas. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Viva Las Vegas! And Main Street was the official local beer stop. Enough slot machine noise to make your ears pop. The cigarette girls walking souvenir shops, while Red Fox had them laughing till the tears drop. Before Steve got a win at the right time, Sig and Roy had a long circus lifeline. Now the Strip's got a lot of neon light signs. Would you agree there's not another city like mine?